and the knights looked extremely embarrassed. They had been warned never to be separated from the young master, but their bags of gold were too heavy to remain that way and stretch out. He claimed it was just for a drink at the festival, but that amount of money could have bought a bar, not just alcohol. Of course, it wasn't that big or nice a place, and it was just the price of a small tavern frequented by commoners. Come back here in 5 hours. I'm sure it's not going anywhere. Yes, master. 5 hours. Do they have to keep their promise? And the gentlemen, unable to resist the temptation of money, took their bags with heavy hands and left one by one. Gerald, who had used the same trick on the boyfriend, said it was really just the two of them and led Isla to a building. She looked inside the building with a suspicious expression, but luckily, it didn't look suspicious at all. It was just a neat cafeteria, decorated with plants everywhere. Welcome. A member of staff wearing a smart bow tie greeted them. In fact, while Isla, who was visiting a coffee shop for the first time in her life, looked around, Gerald secretly chatted with the employees and quickly reserved a private room. It was a spacious room with soft, comfortable sofas lining the walls. Are you saying you really came all this way just to go to a coffee shop? In fact, if you only wanted a sweet drink and dessert, you wouldn't have had to come here. As she sat on the couch, thinking she was a stranger, Gerald sat right next to her, even though there were plenty of other seats available. She could have told him to go away and pushed him away, but Isla decided to just watch, wanting to see what the hell he was up to. A moment later, the drink Gerald ordered arrived. It was a tea with honey, made with a fruit I had never seen before. Judging by its appearance, it looked like a lemon or an orange, but the pulp was a very deep orange. And even after tea was served, Gerald continued to act suspiciously. The waitress offered to serve the tea in a pretty glass, but told her to drink it herself and leave the teapot behind. The waiter, although bewildered, put down the teapot and left when the customer ordered, and only then did Isla fully understand Gerald's plan. Gerald took a small flask from his jacket pocket. Then he poured a drop of the liquid into one of the glasses. Of course, he thought he was acting secretly so Isla wouldn't find out, but he was so clumsy that he ended up being discovered. That drug cannot be a good tonic for the body. Isla looked in disbelief at Gerald, who nonchalantly handed her the glass full of the drug. It was truly foolish to think that he had made such a brazen gesture and it had gone unnoticed. He thought about pouring tea on that sullen face, but held back because he was afraid that if he got burned by the boiling tea, it would be difficult to clean it. I don't even know exactly what kind of drug it is. Deep in thought for a moment, Isla raised the cup to her lips, pretending to drink. Gerald's eyes shone triumphantly. Look at this. He sighed inwardly and put down the teacup. Isla didn't know what he was planning, but now that she had noticed, she had no intention of playing along. Because? What's happening? Don't you like it? When he put the tea down again without drinking it, Gerald asked impatiently. Isla shook her head and blinked. No, it's not that. I want to try it. That? Before, there was that one. Chocolate cake. Gerald's face turned red as a tomato as he looked at him with that pitiful expression he usually used to soften Cloud's heart. At that time, he ignored him, telling him to eat alone, but he suddenly wondered why he acted like this, and ended up giving in to temptation. Oh really? I'm sure this cafe has it too. I ask you. And as he foolishly fell into Isla's trap and pulled the rope to call the servant, Isla quickly turned the glasses over. The delicate glasses were exactly the same shape, so Gerald ordered the chocolate cake that Isla had been craving, not realizing that they had been changed. While Isla laughed at his foolishness and raised the cup to her lips to take a sip, Gerald also happily drank the tea in front of him. The slightly bitter, yet sweet and sour taste was excellent. He thought something would change after taking the drug. It was not a drug that took effect quickly, and Gerald showed no change until the waiter brought the cake. "Don't let anyone in until I call you, okay?" He seemed perfectly normal, even going so far as to threaten her like that, wondering what the hell he planned to do alone, leaving the employees behind. "What kind of drugs did you take? Did they have no effect on you?" It was so normal that nothing was happening, and she thought that way. But after a while, Gerald began to rub his eyes as if they were closing, and even yawned. And right after, he fell asleep, snoring softly. It was a sleeping pill. Since Isla was stronger and faster than him, he didn't think he could do anything, so he figured he would put her to sleep and do something terrible to her. She thought about pulling out her hidden dagger and making him lose his manhood, but then she changed her plan, thinking that maybe this was her chance. "Hey!" Gerald didn't even wake up when Isla hit him in the face with the back of a dull knife. He must have been fast asleep. He searched Gerald's pockets, after seeing the bag of money he had left after chasing the knights away. "In 4.5 hours. Until the knights come to pick me up, I am completely free." Isla threw the bag into the air and caught it again. The coins inside jingled. "Anyway, I was out to enjoy the festival." Since that horned calf had ruined his plans, he thought he might as well spend his money on enjoying the festival a little. She had seen the way from the festival street to there in the carriage, so she could find it alone. There was no one to watch her, no one to bother her. He just had to calmly return on time. Isla opened the window a crack and carefully left the cafe, avoiding people's gazes. The air outside couldn't be so pleasant. Isla, as always, quickly went up to the roof. There was no special need, but it felt strange to walk with your feet on the ground like everyone else. And that was his world. Looking down from a high place, he was able to quickly find a shortcut to the festival street. Isla jumped over the fence, ran across the rooftops, and ran towards where the festival was in full swing. He soon arrived on the stage of a festival full of excitement. Actually, at the beginning, he had planned to join those happy people and have a good time. But even just watching from above, he felt that the happiness was contagious. So he decided to stay on the roof for a while. Because there was still plenty of time. People danced and sang, clinked glasses and laughed over small talk. "Mom, I want that. Buy me that." "Yeah? Oh, this child again. After eating all that, do you still have room to eat?" Children holding their mother's hand and throwing a tantrum, asking her to buy them the food they wanted. It was a beautiful sight that made her cry. It could be a normal day for others. For Isla, these were scenes she wanted to keep in her eyes and heart. He had been looking at the festival venue from such a high place, and then he went down to the rooftop, feeling his heart, which had always been empty, become full. Now, he wanted to experience that vivid warmth directly with his body. The first thing Isla bought was a sandwich that had long intrigued her, filled with meat and vegetables between thin slices of bread. It was a little spicy for her, since she wasn't used to spicy flavors, but it was still very tasty. As he cooled his tongue with the sweet and refreshing yogurt, he got so excited that he found himself smiling for no reason. Come on. Try it. Throw a shuriken, hit the target and you'll win a prize. Dad, it's me, that doll. And after walking for a while, a rather interesting store caught his eye. It was a game gallery where prizes could be won by hitting targets with daggers. That rabbit doll? It's very easy. As the daughter tugged at her father's shirt and begged him to play, he rolled up his sleeves and joined in the game. But the result was... Oh, it's a failure. Isn't there another opponent? The knife he threw didn't even hit the target and was in vain. I hate you, Dad. The little girl, who desperately wanted a rabbit doll, was so disappointed that she burst into tears. Isla, who was watching the scene, paid a single coin as entry and participated in the game. Yeah? Are you saying that the lady will participate? It will be more difficult than I thought. When told that a stylishly dressed young woman would participate, the store owner seemed embarrassed and tried to dissuade her. Although it was made for the game and was duller than a real weapon, if you threw the shuriken wrong and got hurt, you would undoubtedly be scolded for hurting a noble lady. But the shop owner's words made no sense. Stop talking and give me the dagger.